Have you ever thought about the suffering of thought? The suffering of thought. How we can have an experience, have a reality, whatever that may be. Some type of, hardship, perhaps an argument, a relationship matter, children, work. And not only is the thought itself deeply uncomfortable, angering or sad, whatever the reality, whatever the feeling, we then have a tendency to latch our mind and the thoughts onto it and just take off running. There's a suffering to that. Attaching our story, ruminating on the issue. There's a suffering there. And what are we doing with it? Do we catch ourselves before we go into what I call the sweet spot, where you just got to keep on going there and thinking about it again and again and again and again? Creating scenarios in our minds. What do we do in those moments where we feel some type of injustice or wronged, and our thoughts want to think on all of the ways that we were wronged and what we should say or should have said or could say? And what do we do? How do we replace the suffering of those thoughts or the vexations, the commiseration with oneself? How can we replace those thoughts by something else? Sometimes we just have to pause and get out of the comfort of the familiar. Become more aware of ourselves and our thoughts in any given moment. Because it's easy, right, to just operate from autopilot. Default behavior. I'm hurting. Oh, you are so wrong for that, and I can't believe, been there. And no matter how right or justified I may feel that I am, or may in fact be objectively, whatever I'm thinking about it is causing my suffering, actually, because the nature of what is simply is, and we have to be with that. If you step on my toe, I'll have to be with the ouch of that. It's different, though, if I'm like, you know what, you're always stepping on my toe. I can't believe you didn't see me here. These shoes are brand new. You get it, right? That is beyond the ouch of having one's foot stepped on. That's the suffering of thought and where it can go. All the places it can take us that we truly do not wish to go. There's no good there at the end or at the destination of commiseration. There's no good there. There's only suffering. There's only the hell that we create that becomes because we've allowed ourselves to go down sort of the hall or the street or the road to the sweet spot. But after we've gone there, after we've allowed our thoughts to latch on and disrupt the program even more, what's changed? What's different? Nothing has changed. Nothing is different other than we're more deeply involved and more deeply attached, more deeply disturbed, disrupted. the suffering is greater because now we're beyond the experience and we're into the loop of our mind's thoughts, thinking. That's beyond the experience of our pain or struggle or hardship or whatever it is we're experiencing that we would choose not to experience. With that, we just have to be with what is, right? Meet it. But when we add to what we've met, that's when we really suffer. That's the suffering. That's what I appreciate as I continue to cultivate my relationship to Buddhism. The wisdom that's embedded in how we can meet the moment as is and be mindful of how we go beyond how something is. That there exists suffering. There is suffering in the world. And then there's the noticing that we are causing our suffering by attaching in some way. And that there's a path out of the suffering. That we do not have to cultivate suffering, but that we can cultivate our freedom, our inner freedom, the spaciousness within. It may not change the outcome of your reality, but it changes how you meet your reality, how you hold space for yourself inside the reality, even if it's one you do not desire, would not choose. And even if it's something we wouldn't choose, why then choose to add suffering to that which we would not choose? If I don't want this, fill in the blank, why then am I spending an extra 20 minutes commiserating on it, about it? If I don't want to experience the pain beyond the nature of it just being what it is from where it has come, why am I spending more time maybe in conversation with someone else, basically massaging in that pain? We do have to get beyond the default behavior, get beyond being a magnetic force to the sweet spot of it all. But to actually find and catch ourselves at the place of the mind seeking to latch and run amok. Meet ourselves there. Pause and just let that go. Let the extra thoughts go. Let the story go. And just be with the reality of what has happened. How might we practice that? I'm reminded of how important it is to just slow down in life, because when we slow down in life, we can see. It's when we're always in motion, on fast forward, doing this and that we lose sight, and then we get caught up. And before we know it, the place of stillness is disrupted. It's no longer still. It's agitated. And agitation just is like a weed. When we're not aware, it is like a weed, and it will grow and grow and grow. So today, I'm thinking about suffering less. I'm thinking about how we can release the extra thoughts around experiences that we do not desire, that we choose to just be with it, see it clearly, and not slow dance with it in a way that creates more of the same, more of itself. That's important. Otherwise, we do not arrive at an equanimity, at a calm abiding, at a stillness within. We're just constantly being disrupted because we are disrupting ourselves by adding more instead of just being with what is. It's like, oh, can I get seconds? I know I'm full, my stomach hurts, but may I have seconds? While you're still eating, you're adding more. That's a suffering, because right now is already a reality and already an isness. And to seek more is to invite in suffering. To have plenty and already be stuffed full while seeking more is to invite suffering. But to pause and say, okay, yep, they are still off the path. They are not doing the right thing. Let me breathe and not run down a litany of reasons why they're off the path and not doing the right thing and how justified I might be, right? It's like, let's just breathe through this, that I might suffer less. So maybe you find yourself experiencing something that you do not choose, do not desire. And maybe you're adding a little more energy to it that's just cultivating more of the same, getting you nowhere fast. Here's an invitation. Join me in pausing and giving less extra to what is. Let's just be with what is. Meet it just right there at the door. We do not have to break bread together, leaving me with a kitchen full of pots and pans. No, thank you. No, thank you. So yes, tonight, today, whatever moment you find yourself in, this is a reminder to just meet the thing and caution against adding to it, talking more about it with yourself, feeling justified, because you do not have to suffer. You do not have to go any more deeply into it than you already are. In fact, be with that and start stepping out of it, out of the depth of suffering, and into a foundation that has less of an incline, more ease. May that be so. We do not have to suffer. And when we find ourselves suffering, and we have the ache and the anxiety and the angst and just the message of it all following like, Pigpen and Charlie Brown with the smoke cloud. When we find ourselves there, the moment we notice and observe it, that becomes our moment to release it. We don't have to judge it. Oh my God, I've been spending 30 minutes, thinking about this is driving me crazy. Once you notice that, pause. Oh, wow, it's been 30 minutes. All right. Breathe. I cannot change that, but I can change myself, my response, my presence with it all. May we be in that practice together. You and me. May we be in that practice together. And thank you, of course, as always, for coming back around, lending me your ear. And if you haven't, rate the show. Click on the 3 dots and see where the road goes. And I hope you come back around again and again. I do.